What's up everyone, welcome back. Today we're playing Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger in Historic Brawl. This is a 10 mana colorless Eldrazi 10/10. When you cast this spell, exile 2 target permanents. And that doesn't say non-land permanents, so those can be lands that we target. It's indestructible. Whenever Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger attacks, defending player exiles the top 20 cards of their library. So, we are playing colorless Historic Brawl, which is always fun but an interesting challenge. Colorless does a lot of things really well, artifact synergies, ramping with artifacts, paradox engine, those types of things, but it really struggles with removal. So I made a video that was another colorless deck, maybe a month ago or so, where we did a similar deck to this, but Ugin was the commander. So same concept here, except we have the removal tied to a commander. So now we always have a source of removal available in the command zone, and this is a 2-for-1 essentially. We get this, giant indestructible 10/10 with a, really devastating exile attack trigger, but when we cast it, we get to exile 2 target permanents. And it's key that it's, first of all, it's permanent, so it targets anything on the battlefield. And second, it exiles them. So unlike Ugin, which destroys, and there's a caveat, it can only destroy colored permanents, it can't destroy a colorless permanent. This can exile anything, and it exiles 2 anythings. So if you imagine, you look at a board, there's probably a bunch of stuff you want to get rid of, but there's probably 1 or 2 main things that are causing the most problems. Well, you cast this and it gets rid of it. And this gets around counter spells because it's a cast trigger. So you cast this spell, the cast trigger goes on the stack. If they counter it, the cast trigger still happens and we get to exile 2 other things no matter what. And then this just goes back to the command zone and we can cast it again. Now, of course, it's expensive, but like we talked about, colorless does a lot of things really well, and one of those things is ramp, artifact-based ramp. There's just so many great artifact-based ramp spells. Worn Power Stone, 3 mana, it comes into play tap, but then you add 2. All these have utility. Unstable Obelisk, add a colorless, but we can pay Sam a 7 and destroy any target permanent. And since we're in colorless, normally these are restrictions that we have to worry about, like, paying 7 mana, or, you normally can't jam all these in because you can't, for example, what were we just on? Unstable Obelisk only adds colorless, but we're in a colorless deck, so we don't need to worry about mana fixing, which also means we can run every single utility land known to mankind, because they all come into play untapped and they all add colorless and they all have some kind of utility, whether it's making my spells come into play at flash speed for a turn, or draw a discarding, or preventing removing a creature from combat, right? So this deck is going to make a ton of mana so that we can get to Ulamog super fast, or some of our other big stuff like Jamil the Inner Sun, God Pharaoh Statue, the Immortal Sun. We talked about Ugin the Ineffable, Meteor Golem, and Big Emrakul, right? So let's see if we can get in the queue, get some wins with colorless. If you like these kinds of videos, you're into Historic Brawl, subscribe to the channel. I come out with a video pretty much every day, and it's all different kinds of stuff. Make sure we select the right deck here. And if you're a viewer that's been watching my stuff and returning and you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Helps me out, helps me grow the channel, helps me make more of these videos. If you have a suggestion for a commander you'd like me to try, leave it in the comments. I read the comments. I'm in there all the time. If you have a favorite commander and you haven't seen it on the channel yet, suggest it. I'll probably end up building a deck for it. As far as Ulamog, I'm not sure what queue we're going to be in, whether we're going to be in Hell queue or B tier, C tier. I'd imagine we're somewhere in the high B tier because Ulamog is just an infamous card. But we'll see. Yep, right off the bat, a Modi. So I'm going to say we're either in Hell Queue or high up there. Modi, probably the best Simic commander in the format. We have to go first. So we only have one ramp piece. The other one costs 7 mana. So that's not really going to do it. God Pharaoh statue is great, but it's far away. So we're basically what? Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, and then we'll have 4 mana on turn 4. And then what are we doing? I don't know. This feels like a mulligan. This is much better. Okay. Also funny, we get to actually run wastes. If you didn't know that Colorless had a basic land type, they do. They are called wastes. Okay. Forest on top for the opponent. We get to draw a card. This can get us lands. Tron lands. Another ramp piece. Okay, unfortunately we don't have a turn 2 play, but we have a lot of plays after this next turn. Okay, nice. Enters battlefield, conjure into your library, then shuffle. I'd like it into my hand, so let's do this. Gain a life. Pass. Modi. They get an Ornithopter. That's fine. That's a good card. If we play this, we'll have 2 mana. So is it better? Is it better to play the Aetherflux Reservoir? I think it's better to ramp here and get to Jamil. We just need a land and we're there. And then we can start getting free spells every turn. We can keep up with their free spells. Well, that's a rough one, but they can't cascade this turn, so it's kind of a turn off. But next turn for them will be scary. Nice, we draw the land. So now our spells can't be countered, which is also nice. So they have double cascade here, which is just so scary. Okay, Gilded Goose, that's a good whiff. Next one is, yes, 2 whiffs. Okay, we got very lucky, but they 2 whiffs. And then they let this spell resolve, which I haven't seen in a long time. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in order. When a creature is put into the battlefield this way, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature and opponent controls. Okay, so it looks like... Well, this has Ward 2, so they actually can't target it. I don't think they have any mana. Yeah. Yeah, they don't have enough to pay for that, so... So they'll just choose the best creature. Unless they whiffed, which would be just super funny. I don't know why they're taking so long. I wonder if they whiffed and they're salty. That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to choose the best creature. I mean, I would be salty if I got Gilded Goose, Tingle Hedron, and whiffed on this spell. I'd be pretty salty. But they should feel good about their board. They have double emote right now. Opponent? I'm also like pretty far away from Ulamog. I mean, I guess they don't know what's in our hand, but we know, and we're pretty far away from Ulamog. So it's not like next turn we're gonna cast this and blow up their stuff. We are getting a free spell every turn, but so are they. They did whiff. They whiffed! Oh my goodness. Okay, well this is really good. But oh man. Is this a cast trigger? Yes, it is. So we get to gain life with that. We'll have 2 mana left over with nothing to do with it. What's the play here? Put down a blocker. Have 3 mana. Man, I wish we had another land so we could do 2 things. I think it's this, just for the life gain. Make our creature a little bit bigger. No attacks. Trigger. Oh, and that's a nice creature. Gain some more life. Okay, we're working our way back in. They still have double emote though, so I mean, if we were looking to get out of the woods, we are deep in the woods. Oh my goodness, opponent. You're getting so unlucky. Okay, but you are gonna get a Galta. Okay. Well, I think they're gonna draw a card here, right? So that's good. That's good for them. Yeah. That's good value. Can you do it again? No. Okay, they're going as wide as possible, which is probably smart. Can I surveil? Yes. No. Yes. No. Okay. One damage to your face. I think we gotta go this way. Of course. Well, we still cast another thing though, so that's good. Life gain's gonna be really important. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7. Yeah, I think we gotta activate this. We need lands on top. That ain't it either. Okay. No attacks. Free spell. Meteor Golem's good. We'll see if they have another cascade effect. They're getting low on cards. Nope. Okay. Poison Dart Frog. Yep, yep, yep. Yep, this is all good for them. I'm not sure Ulamog's gonna get us out of it. Oh, there it is. There's the Vorinclex. Yeah, they finally did it. I mean, they got incredibly lucky the first several cascades, so I'm not even upset that they finally hit a bunch of good stuff in a row, because it was due for them. So the problem is, with Vorinclex on the field, no matter what we do, they're going to lock down all our lands. So if we draw this, while this is good, it's not great. This says whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell, it fights up to one other target creature you don't control. I don't know if there's a way out of this. With what we have. It's a 3/3. It's an artifact creature, so it'll grow this. But we essentially take our next turn off. I mean, I guess it's better than nothing. So we have a land. Okay. Well, we can destroy something. Vorinclex is gonna do its thing. Yep, yep, yep. I mean, I guess it's a creature. Grows our Shambling Suit. And our Patchwork Automaton. Alright, 22 life. I think if they attack all, we're dead. But we'll see what they do. Mm-hmm. Looking for an answer, which means they probably have a land in hand or something irrelevant. Next blue with Ancient, yep. Now they get, was it triple mana? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All their creatures have trample, I think. Is that what that does? Oh no, this has to attack for them to have trample. Well, I think we can safely say they won the game, because nothing, like no two permanents we get rid of this is going to fix this board state, and I don't think taking their turn is going to fix anything. again, we came up against the best Simic deck in the format, and this is what this deck does, right? It's just like gross Simic value. So, you know, we're playing colorless jank, trying to get some wins, but they put us against an actual tier 1 deck, so it's kind of an expected result. I think if we played this deck 10 times, they'd probably win 9 out of 10 times, just based on the fact that their deck is innately better than ours, no matter how well we try to play. Just the unfortunate reality of the Historic Brawl format. It's not as wide open as Commander or any of those other singleton formats. But that's not going to stop me from making jank, baby. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I guess it's obvious because I make a different video every day, but I'm not someone who can play the same deck all the time. Like, some of these people just really, like, build a Modi or whatever, Rusco, and they just play that every day. To me, that is so boring. Like, Magic is such a diverse format, you know? I could not play the same deck every day. That would drive me nuts. What does this do? Is it, if you would draw a card, except the top card... I'm sorry. If you would draw a card, exile the top 2 cards of your library. Instead, you may play those cards this turn. Okay, interesting. So it turns your... If you would draw a card... So that means not just... That's any card draw. So if they have a card draw spells, it turns that into impulse draws. Interesting. Kind of powerful, but they have to cast it that turn. So that's kind of a interesting drawback. I wonder if it's a combo deck. I actually own this card in paper. Okay. Ramp. Yeah, I think if we draw a land, we're good. Mind's Eye will help us draw cards eventually. And, oh, cool. We drew a land. Okay. Doesn't really matter which one. We could play a 1/1. No, let's wait on Stone Coil. We're under no pressure. Brawl. That's not good. That's not good at all. Okay, well... Let's get some board presence down before we get countered out of the game. Okay. They could spell Pierce here if they want to. Okay, neither of those have greater power, so there's no point in attacking. Okay. Seems good. Probably have a counter spell the way they held up mana right there. They can counter it if they want to. We have another one. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're close to Ulamog. So we'll just pass. Right now we're not under any pressure. I mean, our life total is still high. Okay. That's good. These two together is disgusting. They had a incredibly good opening hand. But we're also not doing anything. If I was playing any kind of interactive deck, these wouldn't just be sitting here untouched. That's a combo. Witness protection. I guess they can put that on Ulamog eventually. They're gonna waste it on the stone coil? Okay. Sculpting steel. Well, we can have it come in as a copy of this if we want. I think that's good against them. We can put down Karn as a distraction. They'll feel like they have to attack into it.
Allow me to introduce you to a friend of mine.
Oh, that's rough. And what is that, 8 damage to my face? And then they attack all? Yep. GG. I mean, they might as well just make this their commander if that's what they want to do. But it is cool to see how this deck draws a ton of, or they impulse draw a bunch of cards. I can see why this is powerful. Pretty cool. I'll have to build this deck. We're sort of seeing the drawbacks of colorless. You know, there's just no, at least on Arena, there's no interaction with colorless. There's no, like, you know, at least good removal spells. The removal spells are all like 5 and 7 mana. What does this jank do? You may put any number of land cards from your hand on the battlefield, then if you control 8 or more lands, you may discard a card. If you do, return Journey to the Oracle to its owner's hand. Can they cast this sorcery out of the command zone? Is that how that works? That's crazy. Discard a card, return to its owner's hand. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card, you may cast it by paying 1 rather than by paying its mana cost. If it's a land card, put it on the battlefield. Alright. That's a new take on Simic. This is a good hand though. This does cost 8 mana, so I mean that's an effect that makes sense for 8 mana is what I'm trying to say. Let's scry 1. Yeah, we need lands. We can start making treasures with the Collector's Vault too. Wherever it went. Collector's Vault, there it is. Probably should have Mind Stoned. I forgot I had Mind Stone in my hand, but it's okay. Oh, that's the best card in our deck. Okay. You. I guess you, so we're mana efficient. There's an argument for the Mind Stone that so we could activate Collector's Vault. That's a fair argument. I just don't know what we would discard, but... Yep, now we have Ulamog mana next turn. So if they have a counterspell, they should keep it up. Although it doesn't really matter. Putting number of land cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Sure. So they can cast a sorcery from the command zone. Seems good. Wow. Okay, well, so they can cast this next turn. I think this is the best play. Makes all of our stuff super cheap. We gain a ton of life. We can cast out our whole hand. And now they gotta figure out how to get through our board state. This has to be some kind of combo deck, because they're doing all sorts of nonsense over there. Okay, well, Ulamog? So we're also very close to 50 life and just doming them in the face.
Lies beyond vision.
So I think they have one turn left to do their combo. Otherwise I think we got it wrapped up. Okay, is this their combo? Yeah, so they're gonna put a bunch of lands down. Cool. But do they have a way with double blue to give it haste? I don't think so. They'll at least have a big creature, but again, we can just dome them for 50. Looks like they ran out of lands. Nope. Okay, here's the other thing too. if their whole deck is actually lands, all we need to do is attack with Ulamog and pass, because it's going to exile the top 20 cards of their library, and it looks like they're going to go through their whole deck here. So if they get down below 20 cards, we just mill them out. I'm really trying to think if there's a way in double blue to win the game from this board state. If it was red, I'd be worried about fling. But I don't know. I don't know of a spell in double blue, at least on Arena, that can turn this into a win. Yeah, auto pay. Auto pay. We want as many spells as possible so that we can trigger Aether Flux Reservoir. Okay. Well, they don't have less than 20 cards, so I think we got them with the Aether Flux Reservoir. How does 50 to your face sound? I was kind of hoping we got to mill them out with Ulamog, but interesting deck. So I get what they're doing. It's a combo deck, I guess, with Cultivator Colossus, where they make a giant creature and then, you know, unless the opponent has a way to remove this, they just attack in with trample damage, I guess. But I really think this is such a cool card that it could, I mean, it could just be good in a generic Simic deck, so I think it would be a better deck if you just played this in like maybe like a Simic landfall type deck, right? I mean, the ability to play that sorcery from the command zone is, it's kind of skirting the rules of Commander, honestly, but you know, since it's legal, it's a pretty cool effect, you know. And then the front side, the 8 mana thing is decent for the late game. I mean, you could build around that. So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't build this as a combo deck. It is kind of interesting to see it try to pop off, but I think just like landfall this would be really powerful as a landfall commander. Anyway, got the win. What's funny is that if we had gotten to Ulamog mana one turn earlier in that last game, we would have been able to exile 2 of their lands and they wouldn't have been able to cast that spell. But we were one turn behind and they were able to cast that spell and put all their lands into play. We get to go first. The Micro Tyrant. This is like saplings and stuff, right? Trample, power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control that are fungi and saplings. Yep. At the beginning of your end step, create X 1/1 black fungus creature tokens with this creature can't block, where X is the number of times you descended this turn. Yeah, I'm going to build this commander at some points. It's a very good Golgari commander. Ramp. We have the best card in our deck. Yeah, I think we keep. Anytime we have Forsaken Monument, I think we're going to keep, unless we have literally no lands. It's just such a good card. Doubles all of our colorless mana. Makes our creature get +2/+2, gains us life. It's just such a powerhouse. Let's lead on the Scryland, see what we have on top. That's perfect. We'll curve right into Forsaken Monument. I'm not sure this deck's gonna have Planeswalkers, so let's just dome their face. And get down the Mana Dork. Mirror Orb, huh? Gonna mill me? We could get down a 1/1. That's got protection from multicolored. Not very good. We'll just pass. That would have been good against them. Oh well. Drew the land. We did it. Our Ornithopter's now a 2/4. I think we have Ulamog mana next turn, right? No, because this doesn't add 1 mana. This adds 1 mana of any color. So we have 8, 9 mana. So if we draw a land, then we have Ulamog mana. Yeah. Okay, what do we got? Okay, block their commander, decline, leave it in the graveyard. We'll... How do I cast this spell? Yo, how do I cast this? I'm clicking on the card. How do I cast it? Pay 0. Actually, cancel. One, two, three. Yep. Oh, I'm so sure. I can't pay for that. Okay, hold on. 1, 2. 1, 2. I know. It's very hard to read this upside down. So they could get their commander back with Breach if they want, but they're a little bit of ways from that. Okay, they're on a 2-turn clock. Let's see if they can get out of it. Get their commander back. But can they block the 15-15 in the air? We don't care about the Mesmeric Orb. We have like 70 cards in our deck. They're giving a good game. That's a good sport. I know you like milling. Do you like milling into your exile zone? GG. Yeah, Emrakul is such a brutal card. I've never seen someone get their commander back after getting Emrakul, but they actually did it, so that's pretty cool. Man, they gotta make this, like, when you take their turn a little less clunky, because, like, normally, like, when you cast a spell, you do this, right? You, like, pull it up, but, so you'd think it would be the same way, but it doesn't work like that. You have to, like, click it, and then it'll let you cast the spell. It's kind of counterintuitive. And then you're reading the cards upside down. Anyway, really fun card. Let's do a deck review. Let's crack a pack. Why not? Like I said before, I'm using the Wilds of Eldraine packs, and I'm trying to do the mythic ones now, so I get the mythic enchantments. These are the packs that included enchantments from Magic's history in them, reprinted, so they're really good for historic Brawl, like the Dark Tutelage here. Oh, nice. I should make a video on Italian. I'll add it to my list. Okay. Ulamog. So, do I think Ulamog is the best colorless commander? No, I still think it's Ugin. Ugin just does a couple of things really well. One, it has, you know, destroy effect, you know, for its -3, so it can come down and -3. I guess it has a couple of things going for it. It's the ability to destroy stuff, the ability to come down earlier because it's only 6 mana, the ability to make all your colorless spells cost 2 less to cast with its static ability, and then if it comes down on a board state that's, you know, maybe they don't have a ton of threats, or maybe you just need a blocker, it can create a creature, and that creature, when it dies, puts a card back in your hand. So it's like it has a relatively low mana curve for colorless cards. It makes your other colorless cards cost less. It creates blockers that turn into card advantage, and it can destroy pretty much any permanent in Historic Brawl except for colorless stuff, like colorless artifacts and you know, other colorless creatures like Ulamog. But it's going to hit 99% of stuff. Even most of the artifacts that are problematic in Historic Brawl are colored, like Great Henge is a green artifact, so this still gets rid of that. It only can't hit colorless things, so it's pretty narrow, the things that it can't hit. So I just think this is so much greater value and at a lesser cost. So I would still choose Ugin the Ineffable. It's fun to have Ulamog in the command zone, though. I can't deny that. It's pretty thrilling to, like, ramp up to Ulamog, and then if you get it out early enough, even like turn 5, if you're able to do that, which I think we did at least once in this video. Maybe it was turn 6, but if you're getting Ulamog out on turn 5, turn 6, I mean, that's essentially 4-5 turns early, right? And you can exile 2 of their lands. Then I think, like, this deck is really hard to beat, because you've not only ramped yourself ahead and gotten out Ulamog, which is just a giant 10/10 indestructible creature, but you're setting them back 2 whole turns. And like in that last game, we exiled 2 of their lands, and they had great spells in their hand, which they probably would have been able to cast if we hadn't done that, but it set them back, and they really couldn't catch up, and we had, you know, a 12/12 and a giant 15/15 in the air. So that's kind of what this deck is trying to do. You know, ramp, get to the big stuff, smother them with the big stuff. Is it going to work every time? No, we saw that. I think we went 2 for 2 with this deck. But if you're you know, a Timmy at heart and you love casting big spells that just wreck the game, you can't go wrong with Ulamog. Super fun build. We didn't even touch on some of these other cards in here that are really synergistic with it, or even get Paradox Engine going. But once we have all these mana rocks down and we start casting a bunch of spells, they untap every time we cast a spell, so we can generate tons of mana. But yeah, fun deck. Try it out if you like it. If you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment, like it, do all the things, help the channel grow. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you in the next one. Later.